NASA Update, brought to you by Internal Communications at NASA headquarters in Washington.
Welcome to this edition of NASA Update. I'm Janine Stanhope. At the top of the headlines this week, the Space Shuttle Columbia rolled back from Launch Pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center. Technicians are disconnecting the external tank and checking the orbiter side connections to see if the orbiter plates have been affected in any way. The Columbia will be in the orbiter processing facility to remove the 17-inch disconnect valve. The valve will be returned to the vendor and a new valve will be put in place. The STS-35 Astro 1 flight is on hold at the present time. Meanwhile, the Orbiter Discovery's payload bay doors were closed for inspection of the right and left payload bay doors. It appears nothing unusual was noted during the inspection. Discovery's right door was inadvertently flexed for a short period of time last week, and an investigation board is reviewing the incident. Discovery's next mission is scheduled for October 5th, when it will launch the Ulysses spacecraft. Deputy Administrator J.R. Thompson signed a memorandum of understanding with representatives of a newly formed academic consortium. The consortium includes 6 minority universities involved in NASA technology utilization. The universities will collaborate with each other on projects including engineering research. Representatives include North Carolina A&T State University, New Mexico Highlands University, Jackson State, Central State, and Southern University, as well as Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Thompson says this collaboration creates an infrastructure to enhance and strengthen each university's science and engineering research programs.
I think this program is a win-win. It's a consortium, certainly, of these 6 fine universities, but I think, as you can tell from the audience here, it brings the very best of our private industry, our universities, where undergraduates, graduate students, faculty, and then the various components of NASA, science, engineering, our management systems, and our technology. Certainly NASA is not the Department of Education in this country, but certainly I think that NASA's programs can clearly be a stimulus for the youth of today, which are going to be the leaders of tomorrow.
The agreement is designed to increase minority universities involved in NASA research and technology development. The Magellan spacecraft is performing well in cruise mode, just 60 days away from Venus orbit insertion. Last week, engineers successfully uploaded and initiated the 24th cruise sequence. The orbit insertion computer command sequence is now frozen as the spacecraft software is set to put the Magellan into orbit around Venus. It's now just over 110 million miles away from Earth and only 10 million miles away from Venus. A historic photograph from the Voyager 1 probe is most likely the only shot we may ever see looking back at our own solar system. The once-in-a-lifetime picture is a series of over 60 images crafted into a mosaic. They were taken last February 13th and unveiled last week at a NASA headquarters press conference. Dr. Edward Stone describes what was learned.
Well, today marks yet another milestone in Voyager's exploration of the solar system, the completion of mankind's first picture of the solar system from beyond the outermost known planet. And although this will be Voyager's last images of the planets, they also mark, this image also marks a new phase in the Voyager investigations.
It took the Voyager 30 minutes to transmit each image and over 5 hours for the signal to reach the Earth. The images were taken 3.98 billion miles away from the Earth. Carl Sagan confirmed just how small the Earth really is in the big picture.
The portrait of the planets that has now been taken is, it seems to me, in the same tradition as the extraordinary color photographs of the whole Earth taken by the Apollo astronauts on their way to the moon, which for the first time gave everyone a sense of the Earth as a small blue and white world set in the velvet blackness of space. And for many people, it underlined the vulnerability and fragility of the Earth.
Next week, we'll highlight what we saw and what we learned. That's our report for NASA Update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Janine